Hey yo, what is going on? It's your boy X coming at y'all with a brand new video, and in this video you guys can see we're back within the tier list, and this one is on the best point guards list. So if you guys are excited, make sure you guys smash the like button down below, as well as let me know what you guys think about the different format that we've been doing with these new tier lists, where I go do my ahead of time and then to show you where we have everybody ranked. Also, if you want to check out the token market tier list and things like that we dropped over the weekend, you guys can check that down below in the description, as well as all of the best cards from season 1 if you want to check that as well. So starting off with the S tier, we have Chauncey Billups' pink diamond card, a card that low-key gets slept on a little bit, obviously because he's a reward card that takes a little bit to log in, if we're being honest, but this Chauncey Billups card is nothing really to ignore, because Billups is amazing. Chauncey Billups is just one of those guys that has really almost every single badge that you would want already, and he's 6'3", which is actually pretty solid. He can shoot the 3-ball like crazy. He's got a 93 3. He's got a few Hoff badges. Comes with clams. He comes with bronze range extender, which can be upgraded if you want to, but bronze, I feel like at this point in the year, it's still enough to do your own thing. Has quick first step, contact finisher, kind of an ability to dunk. I definitely would upgrade that with a shoe or something, just to give him a little boost. And his defense is just out of this world. Has a solid jump shot with the Chauncey Billups jump shot, and you could even boost him a little bit with Rip Hamilton's dynamic duo. It gives him just a little bit of boost in shooting and defense. It's kind of cool. It's nice. But Chauncey Billups, otherwise, obviously, is S tier. Next up is Stephen Curry, and if I honestly was debating making an own tier that just said Curry and putting him up there, because although I have Curry into the S tier along with a few other cards, those are what I view as the top 4 PGs in the game. Curry is easily the number 1, and he still is in a world of his own. There is not a PG in the game that you can put in and really at all competes with Curry. It's just unreal that we have a card as good as him already in the year. Steph Curry, obviously 6'3", has 7 Hoff badges, including Hall of Fame range extender and tight handles, which are crazy. He's got the Curry slide, he can dunk, he's got gold clamps, contact finisher, everything you would want, including a 98 3 and 92 in his speeds. His animations are beautiful. I mean, like, come on, Curry's a demon. Next up, we have John Stockton, a card that I've loved since he came out in the game, and honestly, I still got love for him today. John Stockton is just absolutely beautiful. He's 6'1", the 6'4" wingspan, has 4 Hall of Fame badges, and I mean, he again comes with everything that you would need, just a few upgrades that you would need to have happen to really make him, S tier quality. He already has gold clamps, which is nice. He has gold quick first step, again, which is nice. He's got contact, Hall of Fame Giant Slayer. He's got Hot Zone Hunter, but his bronze range extender is definitely something to look at, as well as not having Deadeye. But you boost those, and you're looking beautiful with John Stockton, who also has a 90 driving dunk, insane speed, insane shooting, and a lightning fast release, along with insane defensive tendencies and really, really good dribbling. So while John Stockton doesn't have the insane shooting ability of Stephen Curry, he does have some insane finishing that really, really helps out, especially if you're in one of those laggy games where rim running is the only thing, because servers are so iffy this year on 2K. And last but not least, into the S tier, we have Deron Williams' Diamond. These are the guys that I feel like are the top 4 PGs in the game right now, which is why I put them up there. And Deron Williams is 6'3" with a 6'10" wingspan, which is massive. Has jump shot 22, which is kind of very, very similar to Rudy Gay, but it's like the Jimmy Butler jump shot. If you've ever used it, you know that it's money. And Deron Williams comes with silver clamps, which is really nice. He has gold quick first step, which is massive. Some really good shooting badges, and you can add anything that you would want to him to really make him your own, I guess. So I would upgrade the clamps to gold, get him some Deadeye on there, and range extender, and your Deron Williams is going to be beautiful. And really, that's, I feel like, all you need to do. He has a 70 driving dunk, so he can dunk on everybody. He has that awesome release. He's super quick. His defensive stats are really, really solid. And he's a 90 on-ball steal tendency, along with a Pro 5 moving behind the back, which is gorgeous. You gotta love yourself some Deron Williams, because I know I do. Coming in at the first card in the A tier is actually Diamond Damon Stoudemire. I know it's the Ruby version, but the colors don't change when you do the evos on websites and stuff. But Damon Stoudemire, I feel like is a card that a lot of people have slept on, because maybe you didn't get him from Limited when he came out, and I haven't even fully finished his challenges. But when you get the first evo done with Damon Stoudemire, it actually gives you some really nice boosts that I feel like help him out like crazy. He becomes a 6'10" demon when it comes to shooting the ball. Has an 89 3-point shot, 85 mid-range, and even a 92 driving layup. And he has the Ray Allen jump shot base, which is amazing. His speed, his playmaking, all insane. And he comes with 20 really solid shooting badges in finishing, playmaking, and shooting, which is amazing. But then with his second eval, you get to choose actually between two different ones, shooting and defense. Shooting is cool. It gets you silver range extender and 2 goal shooting badges. But if you do the correct thing and move this Damon Stoudemire actually to the defensive upgrade, you can get a huge boost to his perimeter defense, which makes it an 85, which is massive. His lateral quickness goes up into the 90s. Same with his pass perception. His steals becomes an 83. His defensive consistency goes up to an 85. And he gets gold, clamps, interceptor, intimidator, pickpocket, and pick dodger, along with pogo stick, tireless defender, and lightning reflexes are both Hall of Fame, which is amazing. So it basically makes this Damon Stoudemire a lights out shooter, an insane defender, and still can play make and finish at the basket. Amazing. He is undersized, which is why I put him down in the A tier and not the S, despite all those wonderful positives. But he still is an amazing card. Next, I put in Stephon Marbury, and it's a card that I'm not exactly too confident if I want him to be in the A tier 100%, but I left him in there because that's where my first, I guess, instinct was, because this Stephon Marbury kind of fits the rim run and go and get those dunks, as well as hitting the occasional 3-point shot very, very well. He's super quick. His 75 driving dunk feels like a 90. He has an awesome shot. He's basically, a Derrick Rose clone, just better in my opinion, and it makes him absolutely insane. Now, obviously, the fact that he doesn't have the greatest of defense is definitely a big issue, but I do feel like you can work around it if you know what you're doing. You can always hide one bad defender on your team. It's when you have multiple bad defenders that it gets a little bit troublesome. So I think just how great he is at the overall rim running game, I had to put him in. Next up in the A tier is Sleepy Floyd, a card that apparently I've been sleeping on, pun intended. Now, Sleepy Floyd is a card that is 6'3", 6'6" wingspan, has some halfway decent dribbling moves, and a really good jump shot and jump shot 22, same one as Derrick Williams. And the thing that I didn't realize about Sleepy Floyd is he has bronze clamps already, which you can upgrade to gold, as well as you can upgrade every other badge. So if you wanted to, you could also give him range extender, and that's where this ranking is kind of based off of, is because when you give him range extender and gold clamps, you're basically making this Sleepy Floyd just a slightly worse version of this Diamond Derrick Williams, which honestly isn't too bad at all. His shooting is great, playmaking is amazing, finishing is awesome, and he has really solid defensive badges if you badge him out like that, which makes him an absolute demon. And Sleepy Floyd, definitely a card that I've been sleeping on, and I feel like a lot of people need to wake up and see how crazy he is. Next up, we have Kyrie Irving's diamond card. Now, again, the reason that guys like Sleepy Floyd and Kyrie are ranked a little bit lower is you do have to have a lot, and I mean a lot of MT to make these guys really what they are. And same thing goes with Kyrie Irving, even probably one of the most expensive cards to really get to that amazing step. Now, Kyrie Irving is insane offensively, but you really have to put some MT into buying his defensive badges, upgrading his defense, and then he still is going to be lacking the ability to dunk like other guys can. He comes with range extender on gold already, which is amazing. He has handles for days, quick first step, tight handles, and ankle breaker all on Hall of Fame, which is amazing, but no defensive badges, and its perimeter is only a 76, and even that's not too great. Now, you obviously can pick up a perimeter defense shoe, which obviously is going to help out your overall defense just a little bit. It's not going to make it absolutely insane, but it is going to be something I feel like will help you. And then you can also throw in, a defensive coach boost like Mike Budenholzer, and then you can actually get it up to an 84, which is solid, as well as somebody with, defensive, whatever it is. And move it up +4 into there, and it really does help you out. But then you need to add clamps to them. You got to add, interceptor, intimidator, pick pocket, pick dodger, things like that to really boost up that defense. So it's a pretty expensive one to do, but when you do get it correctly, he's not too bad. Next up in the A tier is Pink Diamond Jojo White, another card that I would love to get, but I'm just not at the Pink Diamond tier because the diamonds are not worth it. JoJo White, 6'3", 6'5" wingspan. The Paul George release comes with gold range extender and a gold quick first step, and has some really insane defense as well as a 96 in all of his speeds. But the thing is, you have to add clamps to him. Clamps, off-ball pass, and trapper are 3 really good badges you can add to your JoJo White card to really bring out the most of them. But the thing that hurts me personally for JoJo White is he has some good finishing badge upgrades and some good defensive badge upgrades that you can add to him. But shooting, you have 5 badges that don't include Deadeye, Flexible Release, Green Machine, or Hot Zone Hunter. 4 of the biggest badges really that make shooters amazing. And if JoJo White had the ability to get Hot Zone Hunter, he would easily be into the S tier because his tendencies are great, his animations are amazing, but the fact that he can't get any of those really key badges really hurts him and knocks him down below some of the other people that you would have, in other tiers. Next up into the A tier, we have Magic Johnson. It was a card that really was hard for me to rank because I wanted to put Magic Johnson into the B tier, but I just felt like although his defense is lackluster, he still felt better than all of the guys that I had in the B tier, which was tough. And if you're wondering what I mean, is Magic Johnson is obviously a 6'9" PG, which is crazy. He has insane playmaking, really good defensive badges, solid finishing, and okay shooting. But then if you look at it, he doesn't have clamps or intimidator, so those defensive stats really don't matter. Obviously, you can be able to post cheese with a 94 post hook. You're going to be able to hit the occasional midi and 3-point shot. You're going to be quick. You're going to be tall. But without clamps, you're really not going to be able to hold too many people on the perimeter that well. And it really hurts. And even something like adding his duo doesn't really help too much for him. He's got no hot zones outside. So while he is great just because he's tall, he really doesn't give you too much other than that. And last but not least, in our A tier, we have Diamond Derrick Fisher, who to me is actually only a little bit worse version of the Chauncey Billups. And the reason that I have him below somebody like Chauncey Billups is we can upgrade everything, but Chauncey Billups comes with slightly better playmaking badges, significantly better shooting badges, significantly better finishing badges, and a lot more better defensive badges, as well as just having better stats in general, better tendencies, and better animations. So Derrick Fisher has the potential to get up to a Chauncey Billups status if you badge him out correctly, but it's a very, very expensive route. And when you end up doing it, he's just as good as Chauncey Billups. It's just really hard to get him there, so I had to knock him down a peg for that. Coming up into our B tier, I'm going to show off 2 guys at the same time, and those are Bob Cousy and Jerry West, because I talk about all the time the fact that Bob Cousy and Jerry West, to me, are basically the same player. They're slightly undersized guys with really long wingspans that can shoot pretty well, can play make pretty well, and play defense pretty well, but have pretty noticeable lacks in their game. Like Bob Cousy is missing any form of quick first step. That is quite a big deal for a lot of cards. Jerry West is missing the ability to dunk and can't shoot as well as you would want him to, which is pretty tough. And his defensive tendencies, other than his on-ball steal, are pretty bad, and they just don't excite me as much as other cards do. So B tier it is. Next up, we have Amethyst Trey Young, who, if it were for just slightly better defense, like a bronze clamps that you couldn't upgrade, would be amazing. But here we are. He has 1 Hall of Fame badge, which is Giant Slayer, and it really, really helps him in the paint. I understand that nobody, I think, at this point can get Trey Young, but starting Tuesday, which is tomorrow, I'm anticipating some challenges that will be coming out that will push people very, very close to being able to get Trey Young, because I think the max you can get right now is 26. So if there's a few thousand XP, people can get to Trey Young, hopefully. So I'm just going to include him here. And Trey Young, insane shooter, has an awesome release. You can actually upgrade things that he is lacking in, like his hot center up to gold, his range extender up to gold, his quick first step from bronze up to gold. But the main things, and the only things really Trey Young can't do, is dunk and play defense, which obviously are 2 very big things. But his jump shot's amazing. His dribbling animations are also just as amazing. Super cheesy, super nice. It just sucks that he is a black hole on defense. And the same thing goes with Terrell Brandon. A little bit undersized, but Terrell Brandon does slightly different things better. Terrell Brandon is insane at getting to the rim and finishing. That's really what you're using it for. Abusing that gold quick first step with a 93 speed and getting those layups in. He can't really play defense. He can't dunk too well, but for what he does well, he does it amazing. And what he does bad, he also does it pretty bad, but he's not as bad as some of the guys we have in C and D tier, although I do think Tyrese Brandon is slowly going to fall. And same thing goes with Nate Archibald, even after you get him up to pink diamond. I've used Nate Archibald for a while. One of the cards that I use the most throughout most of my time playing 2K. And Nate Archibald gets some really good shooting badges when you upgrade him up, like Green Machine and Hot Zone Hunter, but he's missing things like Deadeye, Flexible Release, really big badge, Range Extender, obviously. Playmaking, has Quick First Step, and a bunch of really good playmaking badges, but they're just not good enough to boost him up. The defensive badges has Pick Dodger and Pickpocket is the only ones, despite having pretty decent defense, so that no clamps hurts, despite having a 96 speed, a really good Paul George jump shot, and actually good defensive tendencies. But his dribbling is pretty lackluster. He can't dunk, and obviously the lack of defense, like Tyrese Brandon, really hurts a guy who's only 6'3" at the PG. Next up, we have Ruby Kyle Lowry, still one of my favorite cards to use in the game. Obviously, I don't use him anymore because I have Curry, but with Kyle Lowry, he's 6 foot, but has really solid defense. He comes with silver range extender, has gold clamps, really good defensive stats, 88 in his speeds, which are amazing, good playmaking, good shooting, a nice release, and his animations are just really solid, including the Pro 5 moving behind the back, which is obviously gorgeous. And Kyle Lowry he plays solid defense, he hits the occasional 3 for you, play makes well, and gets you a few buckets at the basket every single game. He's not going to take over the game, but he's going to be a really solid PG that just gives you a little bit of everything that you would want. So I feel like B tier is pretty solid for him. And same thing goes with Doc Rivers, our next card up. Doc Rivers is actually probably one of the best Ruby PGs you can use in the game. Because he's 6'4", has a 6'7" wingspan, and his playmaking badges are insane, including gold quick first step, even has bronze clamps, which you can upgrade, and some really solid finishing. The one thing that hurts, Doc Rivers is his release is actually insane and super quick, but he doesn't have any shooting badges. You can upgrade all of them if you wanted to, which is why I did put him up here, because if you did boost every single one of those shooting badges that you would need to, catch and shoot, Deadeye, Range Extender, and Hot Zone Hunter, you could probably get a really good shooting, Doc Rivers, but it's pretty expensive, so B tier is what I had to do. But if you do badge him correctly, you probably could get a roughly A tier Doc Rivers. It's just way too expensive for me to put him up there. Next up, we have Diamond Isaiah Thomas, a card that, I've never really been excited about ever since he dropped, and it's just because, Isaiah Thomas is only 6'1". His finishing isn't that great. He's really fast. He's a really good playmaker. He plays good defense, but his jump shot to me doesn't feel amazing or feel like I hit it too often because it's only a 76, and with the right boost you can, but he just has no hot zones outside of the mid-range, so even when I try to hit the occasional 3, just doesn't really do it for me. But playmaking and defense are really solid. It's just on the offensive end, other than playmaking, I'm really missing a lot for him. And same thing goes with this Gary Payton. When it comes to defense, Gary Payton is one of the best perimeter defenders that we have in the game, but shooting the ball, he's very lackluster, as well as finishing. Has no badges in shooting and very few in finishing, which really hurt. And the only thing I feel like keeping him in the B tier is how insane his defense is with, Hall of Fame Pick Dodger, Pickpocket, and Tireless Defender, as well as Gold Clamps and Intimidator, which are really solid. A 98 on-ball steal tendency and a jump shot 40, which is, the Nick Batum base. It's wonderful. If you do have him, I would recommend picking up Ray Allen and getting that little bit of a boost. It moves his 3-point up to an 85, which is solid, and he gets a 97 perimeter defense with it, as well as obviously making Ray Allen just a little bit better, although neither of them, Ray Allen really doesn't have the most insane defense, but Gary Payton can still be a really solid card for you. It's just that offense is definitely going to be lacking. And last but not least, into the B tier, we have Amethyst Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is just one of those cards with Hall of Fame quick first step that you can barrel down to the paint, dunk on everybody, and get some good finishes. But he only has a 73 shot 3, so you really aren't too much of a threat outside, of in the paint. And I've really noticed the way to stop this Derrick Rose is have a semi-decent, defensive PG, stand around the free throw line, give up the 3 ball, and just make sure that you stop the driving kick. And you basically can beat this Derrick Rose every single time. Now, if somebody doesn't know how to play Derrick Rose correctly, with that Hall of Fame quick first step and any sort of space, you're dunking on their head every single time. And that's why Derrick Rose is still into the B tier, because of how overpowered having Hall of Fame quick first step is, but he does have some pretty noticeable weaknesses, which is why he's in the B tier despite his great positives. And next up, we have the C tier, and again, I'm gonna tie together a few cards, and we have Patty Mills, who to me is just a slightly worse Trey Young. Patty Mills obviously has the base 98. I think the only card still with base 98 in the entire game besides his gold card, but he can't dunk. His defense isn't there, but you can add clamps to him. But to me personally, it's just not worth the reward. With guys like Trey Young and Patty Mills, it's like, even if you could upgrade a lot of these things, it's really not too worth it. And base 98, for some reason, for me personally, and I think for a lot of people that I face in the games, it feels very inconsistent this year. So while it is quick and decently good at greening, it's just very inconsistent. So sometimes Patty Mills can go off for you, and other times it's not looking too good. So while he could be amazing, the fact that he really can't get range extender like somebody like Trey Young, I feel like takes a big hit, even though you can boost the defense a little bit. Next up, we have Maurice Cheeks, who again is into the C tier purely because of his amazing defense. Maurice Cheeks, always been one of my favorite cards. 17 gold badges, all of them in playmaking, all of them in defense. You can upgrade his shooting badges if you wanted to, but he only has a 73, so it's really not worth it. But good speed and 97 perimeter as a 6'1" PG ain't too bad, and it really helps him out. So solid card, but at this point in the year, don't really use him. Next up, we have Jay Williams, a card that has not impressed me ever since he's dropped, and just because he's 6'2", and he's a good playmaker and a good finisher at the basket. He can hit the occasional three. His jump shot's okay. His dribbling moves are okay, but his defense is pretty lackluster. He didn't surprise me very much. I wouldn't use him. For the price that he's going for. Pick up Doc Rivers. You probably had Kyle Lowry before. Use Kyle Lowry. Sleepy Floyd, pretty cheap. Damon Sotomayor was free. No reason to pick up Jay Williams ahead of other players. Next up, we have Gus Williams. And now, honestly, I usually put Gus Williams into the D tier, but I'm going to be nice. I'm putting him into C tier this time because I do recognize that if you badge out this Gus Williams correctly, you can make him pretty decent. You can give him range extender, which obviously is going to help him. You can give him outside hunter, green machine, and flexible release, as well as, I think at one point you could put on clamps, but it looks like you can't anymore. And it makes Gus Williams an actually pretty decent card. His defensive stats pretty good. His shooting is pretty bad at a 65, but if you add, all of these amazing boosts to him, a good shoe, a good coach boost, you can get him up to a 73 shot 3, and if somebody has Hall of Fame floor general, maybe you can get that up to a 77 with the great things. It's cool, but again, you're spending all of that to move him to a B tier card. It's really just not worth it. Next up, we have Sapphire George Hill, another great card, budget-wise, but just not one that you really would want to use. You can make this George Hill a really solid card because he's got good defense, he's got good shooting ability, good playmaking, good speed, has quick first step on gold already, and you can upgrade every single badge on him to make him what you want, but he's only a Sapphire, so there's not too many badges that you can add to him. It's only a few, and you kind of need to add a lot to make him as insane, like clamps, range extender, some other things. So C tier it was for me. Same thing with Dave Bing. I just hate this Dave Bing card. His jump shot is absolutely awful. I have yet to go against a person who has actually gotten his release down and used it correctly. I've seen one green with Dave Bing in all the games I've played. I leave this Dave Bing wide open, and he misses every shot. He's super quick. He can get to the basket pretty easily if he wants to, but he can't really dunk. Again, his defense is great, but you really have to put a lot of money into it to really get it there, and it's just not worth it. His tendencies and fall and hard fall are insanely high, and his dribble moves as well as the bad jump shot really just don't make him too surprising to me. He can be B tier if you want, but personally, I really dislike the Dave Bing card, so C tier it was. And last but not least, into the C tier, we have Daniel Gibson, who is a card that I just put down here because he's really just an insane shooter, an insane, playmaker. No defense whatsoever, like none at all. And for what he does really good. But yeah, his dribbling moves aren't that great for a PG, and he's got really no defense and not the best finishing. You're really just gonna shoot the ball a lot, make some pretty well things, and that's about it. I love Daniel Gibson, but this Sapphire ain't exactly it. In our D tier, I'll show you guys here. Just a lot of cards who are very one-trick ponies. Markelle Fultz and Dennis Smith Jr., it's just like get to the basket and hope you get a bucket. Dennis Smith Jr. being definitely better than Markelle Fultz, really in every way. And Andre Miller is just play a little bit of defense and play make, and that's it. Only play make on offense and no scoring, no nothing. Despite having a halfway decent release for once in his career. So this is what we have for our final list in the best point guards. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. Who's your favorite PG in the entire game? Obviously mine's Stephen Curry, but I want to hear yours down in the comment section below, your favorite PG that you've used. I hope you guys have a great day. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see y'all in the next video.